Truth never dies when the world is calling you. Can you hear it rising through the lies? Truth never dies. Truth never dies. It becomes a part of you. Every time you fight for what is real, relentless you survive. They never lose hope when the shadows grow long and the deceit runs strong. Truth never dies when the world is calling you. Can you hear it screaming out your name? Truth never dies. It becomes a part of you. Every time you bleed for speaking greatness, relentless you survive. When the world is calling out your name, begging you to fall, pick yourself up once more. Pick yourself apart. Truth never dies when the world is calling you. Can you hear it screaming out your name? Truth never dies. It becomes a part of you. Every time you bleed for speaking greatness, truth never dies. Truth never dies when the world is calling you. Truth never dies. Pick yourself up once more. Pick yourself apart. Truth never dies when the world is calling you. Can you hear it screaming your name?
Ladies and gentlemen, it is about that time here on the podcast. Moment of truth. Truth about call versus reality. This is going to be something spectacular, guys. I hope I hope you guys had a 4th of July that was awesome. I hope you guys got free food, free wrestling, whatever whatever you did for, 4th of July. There's a lot of things I'm going to talk about during this that's going to set the standards to its entirety. We're going to talk about the truth versus reality. The many people say they want loyalty, respect, professionalism, and a positive community. The reality of that is actions speak louder than words. Too often people war drama, favoritism, manipulation, and gossip over consistency and respect. And here's the call versus the reality of this. And this is towards the bookers that I've noticed in in the call community, in the EFED community, or the call wrestling, or the, pro wrestling circuits, you name it, it's all into one. I truly believe that when you have these when you have these people that wants to destroy, and what I mean by call, and what we believe as is, we believe as it is in, what we have a passion for. There's bad things as well as good things as being the booker. So we're going to go with the good first, and then we're going to go with the bad. The good thing, the good bookers, they build stories fairly, rewards effort, listens to talent, keep personal issues separate from business. Keep that in mind. Keep personal issues separate from business. There is a lot of people that does not do that in this day and age in the call community. Now, there is a lot of people that love to just, believe one side of the story, and they don't want to get the other side of the story. They'd rather believe the bullshit rather than the real truth. But, just like my dad always told me, there's karma that comes back. Karma is like a boomerang. You throw that boomerang, guess what? That boomerang is going to come right back to its resender. Just like the drama, just like the constant negativity, just like the constant lies, just like the constant slanders, you name it. It's going to come back to you full receipt, and it's going to hit you in the ass. That's how that works. Bad bookers. We're going to go to bad bookers now. Pushes friends over active talent. Let emotions control decisions. Change plans because of personal grudges. Creates confusion by constantly changing the rules. That right there is what you guys need to know the difference between the good booker and the bad booker. Bad booker, creates confusion by changing rules, let emotions control decisions, change plans because of personal grudges, pushes friends over active talent. That right there is why that you can't get nothing out of a bad booker. Going to the owners now. This is gonna strike a match, and these people, because I've known a lot of strong owners and I know a lot of weak owners. And to be honest, a lot of strong owners I'm currently in right now. A lot of weak owners I left because I noticed that there was favorites. I left because they refuse accountability. I left because they was in for it to power control instead of lead. And I'll name the difference here between these two. A strong owner leads by example. Means whatever he says, he does. Strong owner creates new opportunities for everybody. holds everyone to the same standards, accepts, DJ Chaotic made a good point on a couple of these podcasts. They accept constructive criticism. There is a lot of owners that does not accept constructive criticism. Keep that in mind. Now we're going to go to the weak owners. Plays favorites, allows toxic behavior because it's certain people are valued, refuses accountability, use power to control of lead instead of lead. Now, here's the thing that I'm going to say, I'm not going to spend much time on the owner's part. I'm going to spend my time on the wrestlers. But going back to what DJ said, I'm going to share this because I think this is very valuable information here. The fact is, certain owners are entitled people who value themselves rather and playing favoritism and don't take constructive criticism while the roster valued. We go back to this constructive criticism of a good owner. They accept constructive criticism. The weak owner, they don't accept it. They decline it. They shut it down. They don't want they don't want to accept your criticism. Constructive criticism is what DJ was trying to say. Now, we get back into the wrestlers part. There's professional wrestlers and there's unprofessional wrestlers in CAW. And I'm going to explain that a little bit better. The respective, the professional wrestlers in CAW, they respect each other. They help build storylines, win and lose with maturity, understand that championships are earned. That's the professional wrestler. These unprofessional wrestlers, they complain about every loss, demand title shots, start unnecessary drama, attack people personally instead of improving their work. These unprofessional wrestlers are your main problems in the CAW community. They attack people personally. They're not professional. They do this constant bull crap that just shows their IQ. It goes back to that old saying, act your age, not your IQ. So there's that. Now we're going to get on to these topics here. It's going to involve jealousy, manipulation, brainwashing, the championship mentality, accountability, and also we're going to get on the big questions here. So there's a lot of things that, you need to take information in during this podcast. We're going to start with jealousy first. Now, if you guys got anything to say, type it in the comments and I'll read it back to the live chat. But we're going to go into the next thing until we can see some live comments here to pop in the chat. But anyways, going back to what we was talking about. Jealousy. One of the biggest problems in eFeds, in the CAW wrestling community, is jealousy. That's where your haters falls in. They are jealous because, one, you're getting success and they can't stand it, and they trying to tear people down rather than building. That's the main structures of what we are trying to do as CAW creators and CAW promoters. We ain't trying to tear people down. We're trying to build them up. But how can you, it's like this. When you have bad publicity, and what I mean by bad publicity is this: when you're in a group that allows people to target kids, in Kevin Impact's words, pedophiles, how is that tearing somebody down? Because in all, if you got a human brain and understand what these people are doing, these are sick individuals that, to me personally, do not need to belong in CAW community. That's just, my opinion. Everybody else has got their own opinions. Now, one of the biggest problems in eFeds is jealousy. Someone succeeds, people suddenly have a problem. Someone grows, people try to tear them down. Someone starts something new, instead of supporting them, some try to destroy it. Success often reveals who truly supports you. Take that in consideration. I'm gonna put this last line here in the chat here, and I'm gonna ask you guys in the not in the chat, but as a banner. I'm gonna post this here as a banner. I want you guys to take notes. This is the biggest thing that I've known in the eFed that truly defines what you're doing right and call. Because if you are booking a good show and telling good storytelling, you're going to have your haters. You're going to have your doubters. You're going to have people that's going to try to tear you down. That's just constant. Thea Hale brought a good subject up, and shout out to her, one of my favorite pro wrestlers. 100% truth that she said on here. That she said not, on here, but through another source on social media. The problem with people is when they see somebody that's trying to succeed, they want to tear people down instead of building them up. And that's the biggest problem with people. They cannot stand somebody to succeed, because that succeed part is letting them know that their failures. The biggest problem with people, they can't stand people being successful. Because the succeed part is letting them know that they are destroying. They want to destroy you as a person and try to break you from whatever you want to do in life. Maybe it's, to be a call wrestler. I'm just putting this out here for example. Maybe it's to be a MMA boxer, NBA, maybe you want to play basketball professionally, go to college, do that. Or, football, or, maybe you want to be a TV guy, like a actor, whatever the case may be. There's some people out here that will destroy you because they are jealous of your success. They cannot stand somebody getting to be better than them. And to be honest, if we look back, it really eats the core that a lot of people that I've known, that I've ran into through feds, it's just downgraded. Like, how can you stand behind and be a call wrestler and be professional if you are hating on somebody more successful than you? I mean, it don't make no sense. You're showing unprofessionalism. That's what we call in the business. You're unprofessional. You're not leaving the motives behind. You're not truly standing for what it takes to be a call wrestler. You're unprofessional. It stands the points, to stand. If I could put it in words. We're going to get in the manipulation part. I'm going to get in the manipulation part, and I'm going to try to okay, the manipulation. Manipulation can look like twisting conversations. That right there is the biggest pet peeve of mine. When somebody gives you the truth, you twist the narrative to your own beneficial words to make them look bad, and you don't show screenshot evidence of what was said. That is the biggest pet peeve of mine. How can you literally, I just don't understand about people. How can you literally twist conversations around without getting the facts straight? You turning friends against each other. You're playing the victim, creating false narratives. DJ even said this a long time ago. You're creating false narratives. It's manipulation. You're spreading rumors behind closed doors. And And guess what? We're doing the right thing because we are being the healthy community. Because here's the thing that I'm going to share to this that needs to be shared here. And this is a true statement. Okay, like if you are doing the right thing for Kyle, this is exactly what needs to be said. A healthy community rejects manipulation. You see it, shut it down. Basically what I'm telling you, just shut it down. Put your foot, put your size 13 boot and kick that thing out the door. Now we get on to brainwashing. Some people are told if you support them, you're against us. That's not leadership, that's control. Healthy communities allow people to think for themselves. That's true. Let them think for themselves. Let them be their own person. Don't control them because you're afraid of losing people. The biggest thing that I've known a narcissist to do is they can't handle rejection. It's one of the biggest thing that I've learned. They can't handle rejection. They got to be a center of the attention. If they're not the center of the attention, they're going to start all kinds of drama, kind of, all this thing that does not need to be in call. Now, I notice this is another thing that I want to address here. Toxic leadership. This is a big thing that I will say here on the Moment of Truth. Toxic leadership is earned through consistency, fairness, and accountability, not through fear, popularity, or control. Questions to consider. Are the rules applied equally? Do leaders admit mistakes? Is criticism welcomed or punished? This is a good question for toxic leadership question that I'm going to put here on the chat. And I want to let you guys know something here. I want to ask you guys the same question in the chat. Is criticism welcomed in your eFeds, or is it punished? It's two simple questions. Is it constructive criticism welcomed or punished? Mine, it's welcomed. If you go into another Fed, boy, you give construction criticism, and boy, you get kicked out the door because they don't like that. They don't like they don't like how things are changed. They want to try to be the center of attention. They want to be the lollipop in the candy bars and all that crap. Now we get on to the cliches. Communities become unhealthy when small groups control conversations, decisions, and opportunities. Cliches can exclude newcomers, spread rumors, pressure others to choose sides, create a us versus them mindset. This is the problem that a lot of people have. They make small groups and they basically say who can join their show, who can't, or basically they create a mindset. It's either them or you're basically punished. So it's basically what it says here, where it says us versus them. In other words, they basically saying that you're going to choose us or you're going to get punished. Basically what that means. Gossiping This is another thing that I think that is a big thing that causes a lot of people in the CAW community. Rumors become accepted as truth. Private conversations become public. Gossip spreads faster than facts. Reputation are damaged without people ever being given a chance to respond. This right here is the big cue here. Power trips, another one. Egos, attention seeking. I've mentioned that. Manipulation, divisions, lack of accountability, disrespect, jealousy, negativity, toxic competition, lack of communication, definitely respect. I mean, here's the thing I'm going to say about respect. If you can't respect somebody, why are you in the wrestling call community? Because in the real business, if you ever do the real business, you're going to learn that it's about respect. If you can't respect somebody, there's only two things that I know that is going to happen to you. One, they're going to tell you to get out of the ring, or two, you're going to get what they call in the business a receipt. That's the God's honest truth. If you can't respect somebody, don't join the business. Simple as that. Now, after we discussed all that, now we're going to ask everybody this. Are we building a community, or just collecting members? Are leaders serving the community or serving themselves? Are championships earned or decided by relationships? Are rules enforced equally? Do people feel safe sharing different options? Can someone disagree without becoming an enemy? Are new members welcomed or ignored? Are rumors replacing honest conversations? Is criticism being used to improve or to humiliate? Are people judged by their efforts by who they think they're friends with? Do we encourage accountability or excuse bad behavior? Are we creating opportunities for everybody or a selected few? Are we protecting friendships at the expense of fairness? Are we choosing truth over narratives? Are we choosing unity over division? And what kind of community do we want future members to inherit? Final message. Communities don't rise because they avoid difficult conversations. They rise because they are willing to have them with honesty, humility, and respect. But the strongest leaders don't feel accountability. The strongest members don't fear growth. At the healthiest communities are built not on control or popularity, but on trust, fairness, respect, and integrity. Because in the end, the truth does not need shout. It needs simply stand the test of time. So, if you guys got anything you want to get off your chest on this podcast, especially on this episode, I can send you guys an invite, even in live chat. So, now's the time to literally because right there is the live chat, guys. If you guys want to join and get some stuff off your chest that you need to talk about, that you've known, the call community to be about, or you feel like somebody has done something along the way that you didn't, like, or, something to that nature. This is what this podcast is for: being truthful, being honest, accepting constructive criticism. A lot of Fed owners don't like that, As you can see there, guys, if you go to that Q&R code that's above on the top right-handed side, maybe the left-handed side, you click on that, It'll take you to the JTV Wrestling YouTube channel. Go subscribe to them. Go show them much love and appreciation, and tell them that it's from your boy, CJ, if you're a fan of mine on my channel. Go show them much love and respect, and give them the love and appreciation. You know, go check out the KSN Network podcast. Much love on, DJ side for what he does. Go show him love and appreciation and all that. Much love to Alex King, PWA. Much love to him for what he does. But the same time, before, I close this out here on the Moment of Truth, I'm going to try to make it short and sweet for episode 19, is know the difference between call and reality, guys. That's the main thing, because if you don't know how to be a call, which is create a wrestler, if you don't know how to live behind that wrestler, don't be a part of the business, because reality is going to kick in. And the reality is of this is, if you can't cut a promo and people are going to know a promo different from a personal attack. So study the craft, learn the craft, and learn much as you can. Because when you're better yourself and you realize all the toxicity won't outweigh the success that you are having, that will be your moment of truth.